Do we know how frequently it makes it all the way into the lungs, and how many patients, how many people does it stop and not make it all the way down there?
Well, there's new data coming out all the time. Of course, this is an active area of study, and that's a big question. What we do know is that dose is everything. So we talk a little bit about viral load. That's really talking about the number of virus particles that are either in the body or in a dose. So when you take on a droplet, whether you breathe it in or it's on your hands and you touch your mucous membranes, you're delivering a dose into your body. And certainly dose is going to be dependent on how far that virus spreads in the body and how much it grows, how the viral load builds up, and eventually how much disease it creates.
Can I ask you a question about thinking about where we would target the therapeutics? And we can begin with, what are the different places we target new medications to fight the coronavirus? What are the 3 or 4 places?
So this coronavirus is infecting respiratory cells, and you mentioned in your video that it's binding to the ACE2 receptor. So there are many potential therapies in our suite, in our toolbox, that could maybe address this problem. One of those could be something that might block the ability of the virus to bind to the host cell receptor. So you mentioned the proteins on the outside of the virus. They're called the spike proteins. They're the key that gets into the lock of the host cell receptor. And once
does chloroquine block them or not?
Well, chloroquine is definitely one of the things we've been talking about a lot. We actually don't know a lot about how chloroquine works, but it's probably having an indirect effect. It's not actually acting directly on the virus. It might be changing the pH of the vessel that is created around the virus when that lock and key happens and the virus is taken into the cell and begins to start its replication cycle. It's probably affecting the way the immune system is responding to the virus. That's how chloroquine works when it's used to treat lupus, for example. So the danger here is that we don't really know how chloroquine is working.